Hello, my fellow citizens, and welcome again to another episode of Star Citizen FM, episode 58. Star Citizen FM is your fan community source for anything related to Star Citizen, community events, or anything else in the verse that might catch your fancy. Star Citizen FM is hosted by yours truly, Dr. Hawk. So join me on this special interview episode as we interview our favorite, Sandi, from Cloud Imperium Games. And as promised, fellow pilots, I have an awesome interview lined up with none other than our very own Sandi. How are you doing today, Sandi?
Hey everybody, thank you for having me on your show.
And thank you very much for taking the time to do this. I know we've been trying to beat around the bush here for a while now and get this arranged, so thank you very much for making it happen. It means a lot. I know I'm not that big, but appearing on my little show means all the world to me.
Absolutely.
So, for most people out there, they already know who you are, but would you like to give me a quick rundown of your title and what you do at CIG?
My title is VP of Marketing, and I basically run other things, events, concierge, customer service, relationships with hardware partners, general branding of the brand, and things like that.
So, one of the things that I've actually really wanted to ask you for quite a long time is that over the last year, little over a year now, we've watched Star Citizen become this small little Kickstarter that quickly, catapulted into the landslide and support and people that wanted to see it succeed to this vision that everyone wants now. It's quite successful, or will be. At the same time, what does it feel like being on this kind of roller coaster ride? You start off small, you're unsure, you're nervous, and now you're still probably a little unsure. There's still uncertainties, but you have a more established fan base and support, foundation. How does it feel?
I think it's exciting, and it's also there's quite a bit of pressure. We're not really. Yes, we've raised quite a significant sum of money, but to have longevity in a game, we're still not got a huge community as yet. So there's still a ways to go, for me anyway, in my job.
Correct. So with something like that, with the longevity, what exactly are you looking for then in that case? Are you looking for a specific number, a specific figure? Is it what kind of factors into this when you're sitting down and thinking, will Star Citizen float or sink? What are the factors that come into play?
The plan was to have an audience similar to this size, probably not this early on, so that's a nice thing. But definitely probably 2 million, somewhere in there.
Alright, so would that be considered a sustainable audience, or what you initially wanted to achieve?
That's definitely a sustainable audience.
Okay, so we're not shooting for World of Warcraft figures.
I definitely think that the game has potential to be World of Warcraft figures, but I'm not going to count my chickens before they hatch, so to speak.
Fair enough. So, going back to that topic though, being on the roller coaster ride, from a personal experience, like, you yourself have become sort of a bit of a poster child, or a figurehead, so to speak. A lot of people look up to you in chat roll, and seeing you get out to the events and meet the fans, come talk to us. On a personal level, not just analytical. How has that been for you? Coming into something like this.
Yeah. It's kind of different. Gamescom was quite surprising to me how popular that was, and how, I guess, dedicated the fans were and exuberant they were for the game. And Chris Roberts and everything that we showed off there. So it's definitely challenging. And just when you think you're going to have a holiday, there's something that happens. Well, not holiday, but maybe just relaxing a little bit and not working 16 hours a day.
Right. So what did you find so surprising about it, though? Was it the massive energy, just the enthusiasm, the support? What exactly is the highlight for you when you look at us? Or
Yeah,
or
I
even
mean,
Quirk.
What's that?
Or even Quirks.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely. I don't quite know how to describe it. I'm not sure if PAX East is going to be a similar kind of event, but certainly the Gamescom one, it was just like, it was like being at the Super Bowl or something. It was so, everybody's so enthusiastic and energetic, and people were screaming and shouting and taking photographs. I mean, it was kind of, it was complete craziness at the party. I think the second I showed up until like 1:30 in the morning, it was just, sign this, take a picture there, do this here, do that there. It was like, it was pretty intense.
Well, at the same time, it does look like you did have some fun there, and a lot of people from the Gamescom footage certainly had their fair share. Speaking on the fun side of things, I know you yourself, I think in other interviews, have mentioned you've tried a game here or there. Do you plan to be playing Star Citizen as much as we do?
I think it's probably going to be difficult for me to play something as much as a lot of the community will be, because I don't really like doing something unless I'm really good at it, which requires time for me.
Correct.
And I probably won't have enough time to be at the level where I can just like tune in and dogfight really well. So
you're a PvPer is what you're saying. Or player versus player.
No, I know what PvP and PvE. I just I don't know. I can't really say. I definitely have an addictive personality, so if I'm really into it, then maybe I will be playing as much as everybody else.
All right. So if we were to just stare into the crystal ball here, what kind of role would you see yourself playing as?
I have the Cutlass, and I do like the pirate role, but then it kind of interests me that the exploration part. I mean, it just depends on my mood, really, to be honest. If I just feel like lounging around, I probably would just take out a freelancer or something. I mean, I'm not really one to do, if someone tells me to haul some cargo or something, that's not really my thing.
You'd rather just say, get someone else to do it.
Yeah. But, if there's a dangerous mission to go to an outer planet or something like that, I'd be up for that.
So you like the allure of finding and discovering.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a lot of citizens out there that are actually looking forward to that based on the previous polls. And we'll have lots to look forward to when the game does release. Switching more to the, again, back to the real life front of things. Star Citizen, of course, has presented many logistical and business challenges that only I can fathom. What has been to you, and what you can of course share, been the biggest challenge for you so far that you faced in this project?
I think it's because we're doing something that's quite new in the business model, in as much that for most people it's kind of backwards. Usually you would have a game you would launch and then take it to market. But this needs to be marketed before the game's actually out. So it's a big challenge to find people that understand what that is. I mean, even up until now, I don't have a marketing team because it's hard to find somebody who understands what they need to do.
Well, you're also rocking the boat too, so to speak, because this Star Citizen has gone and done a few new and different things before. So, what would you say you would do if you were to approach like a potential market partner or something and try to explain why this would work? What would be your your elevator pitch to persuade them to jump on?
Well, I mean, I don't really want to sound cocky, but I haven't actually tried to persuade anybody to come on. It's actually been the other way around. It's just that I haven't really liked the pitch that the other party has given me.
Really? That's
Yeah.
I'm guessing, of course, we can't go into what the pitch actually was.
Yeah, I mean, there's all varying ones, but they're just like not appropriate for Star Citizen at all. I just it's really in some ways mind-boggling, and then in other ways, I guess it's not. I mean, if you're doing something like I'm doing something and you're in the middle of it, it doesn't seem quite so elusive. But I guess to the outside, it might seem elusive.
Right. So dealing with this kind of attitude that you have market partners and other potential competitors eyeing you down, and some of them I'm pretty sure wanting to see Star Citizen fail based on just the market, how things are, the way the wheel turns. What is that like? Because previously there was the doubt space sims are dead, blah 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 blah. We've heard the whole story and seen the awesome trailer. But what does it feel like now that I know we haven't quite taken the first true step, but still sort of showing them, okay, well, maybe there's potential here that they were too ignorant to see. Does it give a nice sense of pride, or?
Yeah, I think it does. I mean, I didn't really, when Chris described Star Citizen to me, it didn't really matter to me that, I mean, I don't ever think that a genre dies. I just think that it needs the right creator to give it a voice.
That's actually a very good view set.
So basically, Chris was that person, or one of them. There's other people who are back in the genre as well. But so yeah, what was the sorry, what was the rest of the question?
It's okay. You actually answered it quite well in that aspect, and if I can finish it for you, watching Chris charge ahead the way he has, trying to get this game produced and producing the way that everyone's part of it, and we're allowed to see the process, has been quite fascinating. In regards to that being said, though, you said yourself previously that it is considered backwards. Does this sort of ruffle any previous, feathers that you've been accustomed to? Like, are you finding it a little awkward, like you said, that you're working backwards, or is it a little weird that, you're approaching Star Citizen in this kind of fashion as opposed to something that would be, let's say, completely hush-hush and then, like you said, revealed last minute? Like, what is that like?
I think with the community right there, sometimes it's cool and exciting and fun, and other times it's really frustrating and annoying. So there's that, being so raw to the community, because usually you don't have hold on, guys.
It's okay.
Usually you don't have somebody or the public. I mean, in a film, for example, you could do a focus group,
Right.
but that isn't until the film's finished. You're not got fans in the middle of it saying, "Hey, I don't like the way you're shooting this, and don't do that, and this ain't cool." And so that's quite different. I think the working backwards thing just means need to be more creative.
That's a good way of looking at it. It gives yourself, a very proper and yet thorough challenge.
Yeah, there's definitely a challenge every other minute.
Every other minute, that's a good
Yeah.
way. So thinking about the community, and of course we don't have to name names here, but what has been your both best and worst experience with the community? Because we all know that not everything is all nice.
Yeah, I think with the community, I really enjoyed the beginning of the campaign. I actually really enjoyed the old Kickstarter thread, because there was a few of the usual people that you'd see on there, and you become friends with them.
The chat roll regulars.
Yeah, but on the Kickstarter, it's a bit more of a contained format rather than chat roll just kind of rolls so fast. You're not really, unless you know somebody beforehand, it's pretty hard to connect to somebody on chat roll. But the Kickstarter comments just kind of stay up and it runs much slower.
Right.
And the beginnings of Concierge are really fun. There's a few people who still email me personally, and we chat about different things outside of the game, just general things.
That's
So
pretty
that's fun.
unique.
Yeah. And what else?
On the flip side,
Yeah, on the flip side, there's a lot of flame throwing that happens. It's pretty disappointing and upsetting, and it's kind of weird to me that, we're real people and we're right there. So there's all these deceptive marketing practices, and you're just trying to screw us over. And I find that really weird, because I'm like, okay, well, you're talking directly to me, so what's happening here? I don't quite know.
so what exactly would you mean with deceptive marketing practices, though? Because this topic has come up before, but Star Citizen is a game that you and I like to see currently as an extended Kickstarter. You're pledging for it. You're investing with a no return. I'm trying to help me with the proper word. You're investing in something that you will not see a financial return in, but would like to see succeed. I think I said it right there.
Yep.
But at the same time, I see people who'll be like, "Oh, why would you spend $2,000 for a spaceship?" At the same time, why not? There are people who can afford it, and if they have the means to do so, why stop them?
Yeah, the way I look at it is that people spend their money on what they want to spend their money on. I believe in having a good product, and I'm not going to try and force you to buy anything. So if you like the product, great. If you can afford it, great. If you can't, then don't go and buy it. So I don't really see what's deceptive about any. It's not how I think. So when people flamethrow and they send me these long walls of text about how deceptive and everything we are, I'm like, what are you talking about?
Do you think it has something to do with what is commonly known as self-entitlement? People thinking, "Oh, hey, I spent money on this." That mentality of thinking suddenly that if you've invested so much, you have a say.
Yeah, but I guess for me, it's a matter of perspective, in as much that I could go to Las Vegas and blow $3,000 in a night on table service. Horses for courses. I could go to the racetrack, or I could go to the theater or Disneyland and drop a few $100s.
That doesn't mean you own the theater.
Right. I'm not. I can't then go back to Disneyland and say, "Hey, listen, you give me a refund. I didn't think that train ride was very good. I thought that sucked." Give me a
Yeah, if only life. Well, actually, no, I don't even want to think what the repercussions of that would be like if that were true. And the sad thing is that there are people that do that kind of thing. In fact, I'm actually curious, and this is just out of curiosity's sake, how often do you have to go through potential refund, or at least the people asking for refunds because they thought maybe they were buying a full game or had not yet fully grasped what Star Citizen was?
I mean, we get genuine ones, which we will refund. Say somebody completely misunderstood, and we can appreciate that, as it's a international game, and some people don't speak English that well.
Right.
So, but they're usually like $30 or $40 pledges. It's the ones that, I mean, it's like they buy a lot of things, spend, I guess, more than they can afford.
Oh, you're talking about like the higher people,
Yeah.
$5,000 plus.
No, not even that, not that much.
Oh, okay.
Like maybe 500 to, or maybe starting at 200, somewhere in there, 200 to like, I don't know, 1,500 or something like that, somewhere in that zone. I mean, yes, we do get the way higher backers. A couple of them threaten to refund, and then when I call them on the refund saying, okay, I'm going to refund completely, then it usually cools off. But I don't like I don't like getting into those arguments, but at the same time, I don't want somebody who, in our community, who keeps saying we're deceptive, we're trying to fool you, we're trying to...
So do you just take it in stride? You know, try to keep moving on and look at the grand picture of what the goal is, rather than just the smaller problems.
Yeah, I mean, I am pretty thin-skinned, but then I just do what I do. It's not like
I'm like a dog chasing cars. I just started thinking of Christopher Nolan's Batman. Jeez. But you carry on. Sorry.
Yeah, no. So yeah, I mean, I don't tend to focus on when people start making those comments. I mean, that's not really constructive criticism. So,
well, on a more positive note, the community has done a lot of amazing things. In fact, right now you guys have the next great starship going, which is quite amazing. I tried to participate along with pleasure. I did make it, but oh well. And it's showing some of the amazing creativity that we have from some of these people. Like what do you think when you see stuff like that? Because when I watch the next great starship, and take this with a grain of salt, especially Chris if he watches this later, the next great starship to me almost feels not so much like a contest, but almost like a giant quasi job fair, because just the way that I watch them pick apart some of these things is not so much in a contest, but like I'm literally seeing how their design process and how they critique things come from a professional aspect, and not just he made this because it's better. It's well, this is what I see in the industry, and this is what I think it should be. With this kind of competition and the creativity that you see, that like what is that? What do you feel about this when you see fans who have these great dreams try to make it to the top, I guess you could say?
I mean, I think it's really great. It's a great competition for showcasing artists and modelers and all sorts of talented people, and I think it's really good for Star Citizen in terms of our process, what it takes to get these spaceships made. I mean, it's like ship porn.
Well, okay, I didn't expect to hear that from you, but there you go. Sandi confirms Star Citizen is ship porn.
Yeah, I mean, I even take it I can't draw to save myself, so I like to see people create something out of nothing. And I think it's good we obviously need to hire artists, and
correct.
It's good for people to see what our standards are and how we do our work and the process that we do, which is why we're showing the process of the Mustang simultaneously. And it's just cool. The teams are really cool. I like how about 3 or 4 of the teams have found their partners from being on our forums and joining our community, so that's really cool. I get a kick out of seeing people connect through our community like that.
So to wrap things up, sort of with trailing with the next great starship, where do you think community and Star Citizen will go? Because of course that's like asking where a meteorite's going to strike. We don't know. But from what you've seen right now and the past experiences that the last over a year has shown you, what do you think is going to happen?
Well, I would like to keep the family feeling that it has, or maybe family is not quite the right word, but more intimate feeling that it has, which I think will require me to look at having community people in the UK, having a few more staff here in the US, and potentially a couple of peeps down in Australia.
Wow.
At some point.
So are you thinking people like actual employees from CIG or community members working like volunteer for you guys?
I think both.
That's quite actually a quite interesting hybrid mix. Why would you go for something like that?
Because I think that the community have a passion and vision for keeping the enthusiasm and youthfulness of the brand, so to speak.
And what would you expect from potential would-be volunteers?
Well, the thing is, we get invited to events and community gatherings all the time, but we can't. I mean, Chris can't be in 10 places all at once, and nor can I or other people.
What? We thought you guys were gods.
No. So to have community members and staff in these different continents means we can do more things. There's DreamHack in Sweden, it's just all sorts of events. Because it takes a lot for, say, me organizing PAX Australia right now and flying down staff for that. So.
All right.
So the communities will definitely be big enough to service like a hybrid on those continents.
Well, I look forward to seeing what you guys end up creating, and hopefully maybe I, in some small part, can help that. Well, Sandi, I thank you very much. I can tell you're somewhat busy over there. I can hear the voices in the background and people buzzing about. So I'd like to thank you very much for taking the time to finally sit down and chat with me. This does mean a lot, and I look forward to talking to you again in the future.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me, and we'll talk to you soon, I'm sure.
All right, to everyone, this was Sandi from Cloud Imperium Games and Dr. Hawk. Take care, Sandi.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
I hope you guys all enjoyed that interview, and Sandi, thank you very much for taking the time to talk to me, and I look forward to seeing you again next time. Quick apologies to everyone. I know some of you missed my episode last week. There was no episode. I've been suffering a little bit of Dark Souls 2-itis-ish. I'll have some gameplay videos of that up in the future for anyone that's interested, as I do plan to start a sort of second project relating to Dark Souls. In the meantime, if you've enjoyed this episode of Star Citizen FM, please do subscribe. You can click the little hawk on the lower left-hand corner if you'd like to do so, or you can subscribe by clicking the default methods. If you have any feedback that you'd like from me, please do leave some on either the comments section, the forums, or send me a note. If you'd like to help support Star Citizen FM, I do have a PayPal account at lucas.g.drhawk@gmail.com. Thank you to all of you, those who have donated thus far. It is greatly appreciated. And as always, I will see you guys next week for another episode of Star Citizen FM. Good to be back, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the future.